So here's the retreat pool and bar, and I'm in a very protected area here, and I can still feel the wind. But here, I want to hang on. So I just wanted to show you guys, out here is the retreat, and it's normally one of the busiest places on the ship. But I want to show you the wind. I have the stabilizer. Oh, look at these trees going. You're not supposed to point in that direction. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to go back in here. So, yeah, we're finally starting to feel the effects from the hurricane as the wind is finally catching up to us here, and it's just the outskirts. So, it's not the main body yet. But I will say this. There was quite a few disgruntled people last night on the cruise because we found out our itinerary has changed. Surprise! And if you were following Hurricane Florence and you looked around and you saw that it's hitting North and South Carolina, it's coming in like this, and then it's expected to curve around up past New York and then curve out through Canada. Well, the second last stop on this cruise is Newfoundland in Canada, so we would be heading directly into the path of whatever the remnants is of Hurricane Florence. So instead of going, we did the Netherlands, we've done Germany. So now what we're doing is we're heading out to past where we just came, the Netherlands, past England, and we're heading down towards the Azores and Spain and areas like that. So we're heading further south. So as the hurricane curves up north, we're trying to run around the outskirts south. Now, that's not a guarantee for us because you never know what a hurricane's going to do. It might head north and just continue curving back south again. So we may end up in Florida for all I know instead of New York. But the biggest disappointment is we are not going to Norway. We are not going to Ireland. And like this cruise is advertised as a Norway transatlantic. So the main stop on this cruise is the one we're not doing. So yeah, there were a lot of disgruntled people. So they announced that last night around 7 o'clock, which just happens to be about the exact same time they also announced that we're going to be about 2.5 hours leaving port in Germany because a train broke down with about 30 or 40 passengers on a excursion. So one of those warnings, guys, if you book with the cruise line, the ship is going to wait for you as long as possible. If they had not booked that through the Princess Cruise Line, they would have been on a train and not on the ship. No matter how many times I blog in public, I still get the strangest looks, even though I try and get to someplace less public. I don't know if you can tell, but I've come down with a bit of a sore throat. I have a runny nose. And so yeah, great cruise so far. But yeah, you should see the minute that announcement last night was made around 7 o'clock. The front desk was packed with people because apparently the only reason they're on this ship was because they wanted to stop in Ireland. So yeah, those kind of people, the minute something happens, no matter what the reason is, it's in what they can get out of the cruise line as fast as possible. And during the announcement, the captain did say that they will be giving something. They didn't state what. For all I know, it could be a bottle of wine. It could be a a $25 gift certificate for the shops. It could be a future cruise credit. I don't know. They are waiting to see how much more of our itinerary has to change because of this weather. Even on the map down in the stateroom, when you're looking at where the ship is, it shows that on the bottom it says itinerary subject to change. So that's a thing. And am I disappointed I'm not going to Norway? Yes. I was also really looking forward to doing the fjords, really looking forward to heading off and doing the Giant's Causeway. But as I always say, guys, when you're on a cruise, you have to roll with the punches. Is it going to ruin my vacation? Absolutely not. So I'm not even sure where we're stopping yet. I don't know any of the shore excursions yet. The shore excursion desk is panicking, and they're trying to arrange things. And a lot of people say, oh, well, just pull into this port or this popular port. Well, you can't just do that because other ships have already made arrangements to do this. Well, how's this? At least you get a little bit of the ocean in the background. A bunch of people just walked through, so I thought, better change positions a little bit. And I can't go out and get much more of a view with less of the window because literally you won't hear a thing I said. So again, a lot of people were asking for their money back and what's in it for me and panicking. The shore excursion people are just running all over the place trying to make arrangements for the new ports that we're going to be visiting. We're down to 2 more ports instead of 3. We have 9 sea days in 11 days now, which is a ton, of 5 days in a row, even more than we were planning before. But we just go with it, right? That's all you can do. You just roll with the punches. So a lot of people say, well, why don't they just head into another port like France or one of the major ports? Well, you can't just do that because
during the 4 weeks I was in the hospital, the postmaster finally called.
Because other cruise lines, they've made the same arrangements and they may already be in the port and there may not be any room. And you also have to figure out where can they get the shore excursions booked in time. And if there's other cruise ships already there, you don't have any shore excursions for everybody. So there's a whole bunch of things to consider. Also, I was speaking to Matt Oakes and the entertainment director, and they had 5 entertainers sitting in Norway waiting to get on the ship. Well, they're not getting on the ship now, so now they're scrambling to find entertainment on the ship as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, and a lot of people don't take that into consideration. But it's pretty windy out here, as I was saying. But we're gonna roll with the punches, and I'll keep you abreast of where we're going. But if you're looking for videos on Norway and Ireland and Newfoundland, you ain't gonna get it on these vlogs this trip. Which might mean I might just have to do another trip soon. Who knows? If I get a big enough future cruise credit, yeah, right. Maybe I'll just stay on the ship and do Canada after this. If I can. That itinerary, if the hurricane's up in Newfoundland, how are they going to do Canada? That should be interesting. But stay tuned. Okay, guys. Here's the map of our trip. So, this is where we started in England, off to the Netherlands, off to Germany, then we're supposed to head on up here to Norway, and then head on over here to Ireland. And instead, this is where we are now. So you can see we're just basically backtracking. And in reality, our next stop, let me show you how far down we're going, is way down here. All the way down into Spain and Portugal area. So that is a far cry from Norway and a lot farther south than we expected to go. And our 5th stop is way over here in Ponta de Gata. So we have Ponta de Gata, and our first stop is Vigo. Yeah, so kind of a completely different itinerary than what we were expecting. And that's not all. If you go down here, itinerary is subject to change. Okay, So here's a rough idea of what some people are going to be going through. Currently it's 63 degrees, and our next stop was supposed to be tomorrow in Norway, and the predicted temperature was in the 50s for Norway, and even colder if you got up into the mountains. So near the glaciers and into the fjords. Instead, we're stopping in Vigo with partly cloudy skies, 0% chance of rain, very low wind, and 90-degree temperatures. So if we were all dressed for 50-degree temperatures and it's going to be in the 90s, I foresee a lot of sweating and just uncomfortable people, because we didn't pack for a southern trip. We packed for a northern trip. It's like if you were planning to go into the Caribbean and they suddenly sent you to Iceland. You're not dressed for the cold, you're dressed for the warm. Well, we're dressed for the cold and not the warm, so this should be very interesting. So for all those people yesterday who ran downstairs when they announced the itinerary change and were complaining that they're not going to Norway and Ireland and Newfoundland, I have one thing to say. Would you rather be in the middle of the Atlantic, 1,000 miles from land, in a hurricane? I for one am not willing to do that in a boat. Thank you very much. So I'd much rather be with a cruise line that looks after your safety more than anything. So actually, even though I'm very disappointed I'm not going to Norway and I'm not going to Ireland, and I'm still very thankful to Princess for making sure that our safety was a top priority, because they have to predict the weather days in advance. We can't be heading across the ocean and all of a sudden the hurricane starts veering into our path, because we'll have nowhere to go. So yeah, they have to plan this out well in advance, and it takes so much work to rearrange a ship's schedule and itinerary, especially this drastic. It's one thing to go from St. Thomas to St. Martin instead, because you can't dock in St. Martin or St. Thomas. It's a completely other thing to head 700 miles down the countryside into a different country and find a port. So there you are. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening. As you can see, Hurricane Florence is causing havoc with the trip. We're completely changing our itinerary, and yeah, it's just one of those things. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no use dwelling on it. You just, what the heck, roll with it and have fun anyway. So that's what we're going to do. I got some pretty interesting stuff going on in the next few days, but a lot of sea days, so I'm going to have to find stuff to keep me busy. So if you're wondering what is there to do on a sea day, keep following these vlogs, because you're probably going to get an awful lot of them. And Hurricane Florence, but we're pretty safe here. I hope you guys like this video. It's not exactly the start to the vacation that I was hoping for, but I still had a great time in Netherlands and great time in Germany, and we'll see what happens in Spain and on the ship. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from, I guess, Spain next, please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.